Hi guys, Rebecca here, and today is 4/11/2017. The time is 6:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In New Zealand is Wednesday, April 12th, and the time is approximately 10:50 a.m. We're just going to go down the quakes from yesterday evening into today. We're going to start with a 2.2 at 52 kilometers in depth. This quake is near Matamata. Next quake was a 3.7 at 40 kilometers in depth. This quake is in the Rukamara Forest Park. The next quake was a 2.6. If you hear noises, that's my daughter sneaking in here. Okay. This quake was near a lake reserve, Lake Wairarapa. Sorry if I am killing the words, you guys. The next quake was a 1.7, and that was followed by a 2.0 at 45 kilometers in depth. This quake is back over in here, so this area is having some sort of a swarm. This is Rotorua. Next quake was a 1.8, and that was followed by a 2.6 at 147 kilometers in depth. This quake sits over here near Tongrangi, and it was at 147 kilometers in depth. And as you can see, our swarm has started again. Even though it's small, it has still picked up since yesterday. The next quake was a 1.8, and that was followed by a 2.6. This quake is over here near Lyford. Our next quake was a 2.4 at 150 kilometers in depth. This is near what I think is a wood cutting area. It could be something else. I don't know what these are, to be honest. It may be some mining, I don't know. Anyway, this is over here near Rotorua. Our next quake, and that is a volcano, just so you know. It's a caldera lava dome. Our next quake was a 2.0. And this one is on the other side of Lyford. The next quake was a 2.6. And this is over here near Mangarapa. Next quake was a 2.4. And that was also in the area of Lyford and Hundley. The next quake was a 2.4, which was also in the same area. And it was 13 kilometers in depth. The next quake was a 2.3, and it was also in the same area. And that one was 17 kilometers in depth. The next quake was a 1.6, This one is near Cape Palliser, up at Palliser Bay. And that's where that 4.9 hit a few days ago, or 4.7. Forget which one it was. But it was right over in here. So we have a small storm going on right around here. Our next quake was a 0.1, then a 0.4, and a 1.5, followed by a 3.0. And this 3.0 was over here at Hicks Bay. That was followed by a 5.1 at 60 kilometers in depth, which is not biggie, but it was over here in Vanuatu area. And I keep an eye on these ones to see if they'll come down this way in effect. Our next quake was a 1.8. And this was over here at Tiki Tiki. The next quake was a 0.8. And this is also near Mount Rapoa. There's looks like a small storm going on here as well. The next quake was a 2.4. Back over here at Hicks Bay. The next quake was a 1.3, and yeah, we're on the 12th right now. The 1.3. This is over here near the storm that's going on over here near Taupo and Tarangi. The next quake was a 2.5, which is back over here at Hicks Bay. The next quake was a 1.5. And this is here near Hutuma. The next quake was a 2.2. Which is also over here at Seddon near Lake Grassmere at Clifford Bay. The next quake was a 3.1. And that's near Quairoa. The next quake was a 0.8, which is back over here at the storm area at Tarangi. Next earthquake was a 2.2. Near Torrentino. Teneroto, sorry. Next quake was a 1.0, followed by a 2.5. And we've had two over here. And that's South Taranaki Bright. Next quake was a 2.8. And that's off at Tapau. The next quake was a 2.0 at 98 kilometers in depth. You can see water areas through here and housing. The next quake was a 2.4. And that is back here over at Hicks Bay area. Next quake was a 1.0. Back over here at Tarangi. Next quake was a 1.9. This one is over here off of Half Moon Bay and the fault line. The next quake was a 1.8, followed by a 2.0, followed by a 1.9, followed by 1.9, followed by 1.8, followed by a 2.2, followed by a 2.1, followed by a 2.0, and then we lead to a 4.0 at 50 kilometers in depth, which is here. However, they have moved that quake over here and have downgraded. Wait, where is it? No, I'm moving. Oh, I'm over here. Sorry, in the wrong spot. Have downgraded it. They've upgraded it from a 4.0 to a 4.1 at 22 kilometers in depth. However, it was a 4.0 at 50 kilometers in depth. So I think I'm going to stick with the first one rather than the second one. The next quake was a 2.9 within the same area, and it too was moved, and it was upgraded. It was moved over here, and it was upgraded from a 2.9 to a 3.0 and given a depth of 5 kilometers. However, it was a 2.9 at 28 kilometers, and I think there's a difference in this move. It was moved from here, over here, to there. And this one, the 4.0, was moved from here to here. The next one was a 2.4 that was within that same area. And then a 2.7. The 2.7 2.7 was 27 kilometers in depth, and it was moved sorry you guys, I've got to turn something off. I guess it's not on. Anyway, it was moved, and it's a 2.7 and downgraded to 3 kilometers in depth. The next quake was a 3.4. And it was moved and it became a 3.3 at 23 kilometers in depth. So it was downgraded just very little. But before it had been a 3.4 at 34 kilometers in depth. The next quake was a 1.8. And the next quake was a 2.4, a 2.2, a 1.5, a 1.8 at 40 kilometers in depth, a 2.4 at 66 kilometers in depth, a 2.8, 2.6, and then a 2.1 at 87 kilometers in depth. And that one is over here near Wairua. The next quake was a 2.0, and that was followed by a 3.1 at 40 kilometers in depth. The next quake was a 2.3, followed by a 2.3, and then a 2.5 at 69 kilometers in depth, and a 2.8 at 92 kilometers in depth. As you can see, this is along a river area to Anu Downs. So you see one is on this side, it's 83 kilometers in depth. And there's another one over here that's 92 kilometers in depth. Our next quake is a 1.5, a 2.3, a 2.2, a 2.7. The 2.7 is located over here near Tiki Tiki and Rekamura Forest Park. And the next quake was a 3.2. This quake was 14 kilometers in depth. And our last quake for now is a 2.9 at 133 kilometers in depth. I'm not sure what that is. It could be wood or it could be mining or something. Anyway, you guys, I know y'all have a cyclone coming. Please be safe. Make sure you have your bug out bags. From everything I have read, that after cyclones, y'all can end up having bigger earthquakes, and not because of water weight, but because of sand and wind erosion. So just be safe. Make sure you stay prepared. Don't be scared. Make sure you have a plan for this storm and for earthquakes. And much love, you guys. Remember to check in with Dutch Sense. And I'll talk to you later.